Welcome to Nacho Fitness Coach. Two friends discuss all things fitness to bring knowledge and some opinions to you wherever you may be in your health journey. My friend Caleigh, the beginner, almost ran a 5K once, recently had her first protein shake, and is the proud owner of one set of 5-pound dumbbells.
And my friend Sara, the expert, grunts when she lifts, has race walked dozens of races, including a full marathon, and has 12 open protein tubs in the pantry. So let's get started.
Whoa. Okay, so this podcast is for entertainment only. If you have concerns about your health, consult a physician or other healthcare professionals. So Caleigh, have you ever hired a coach before?
No, I tried to hire you. You were like, pass.
You tried to hire me?
I mean, I didn't like.
Was that before I met you?
No, because remember I asked you, I was like, do you actually do like personal training at the gym? And then I think we just kind of, you were like, no, because you could never afford me, you know? I was like,
That's true.
okay.
That's why I don't do in-person training sessions. Because the amount of money I would charge to go back to doing one-on-one training sessions is way more than people would probably.
I get it. I know. I've never hired a coach ever.
I mean, that's not just a personal trainer. You know, there's lots of different ways that you can get some accountability or have like guidance in a program, but no, nothing. Nothing when like, well, you did the couch to 5K, but there wasn't somebody on the other side of that, right?
No, that was just literally an app. I mean, actually, it was through my my Google Watch, Samsung.
It was like a program that they had built into that. It was, I mean, well, it was at least some guidance, but nobody was watching to see that you did your workouts or anything like that.
It just me. But I mean, for me, I feel like having that like calendar that would like check off like if you did it, because it knew if you did it or not. Right. And then, so for me, it's like I wasn't going to skip a day and have that, you know, glaring miss day. So you were motivated. You were motivated by some of those like checking the boxes. Absolutely.
And being able to accomplish that way. Well, I mean, you did poke around a little bit though on having an interest in kind of something more formal. Yeah. Though, right? Yep. And so I pulled the trigger and went back to coach that I default to.
Well, because that's what I came to you and I was like, do you actually do like personal training? And you were like, no, you can't afford me. And so I was like, so what? Finally, I was just like, cut straight to the point. Like, what do you do?
Right.
What do you do?
So I have always went back to the same online program, like, because I know the coach personally. She's always been the one person that has been like, you need to do your cardio and actually go do it. Yeah. Right. So for everyone, you got to find like your person or your why or whoever is going to hold you. The three things I dislike the most doing on my own is core work, abdominals, cardio. And dialing in my nutrition when I know that I need to do it just to hit certain like goals. Yeah. And she has been the only person over and over and over again has been the one person that like I actually will do it for. I mean, I have tried doing other programs or, you know, I'd hire somebody else and be like, okay, yeah, you know, we'll try a different flavor. Maybe I'll learn something different or maybe a slightly different approach would be good for me in this stage of life. And I've always just had to go back to it. So that's what I was doing. I mean, I do online coaching too, and I have done programs.
See, that's what's so funny to me is that like you are a fitness coach.
I am. I do.
And you need. I still need to
coach.
hire somebody else.
100%.
That's fascinating to me.
You know, most people I know still typically do that. Yeah. I mean, it's different. Like I absolutely know what I do. I write programs for other people. I mean, I've trained hundreds of people online. Right. I've done all the things. I know exactly what to do. But there's just something about accountability and like knowing that somebody's expecting for you to check in with them. Right. That for me, it takes it to like that next level. And so sometimes it's not just about paying somebody to write you a program. Like you can follow
just
any
having
program.
Somebody on the other end of it.
Yes, that's
saying,
being like,
how are you doing?
Why'd you not get your workout in that day or whatever, you know? And so that is definitely something that has worked for me over the years that, you know, I thought I knew a lot. I was already an athlete. I'd always been super active. I thought I learned a lot about nutrition along the way, but there was always still something that I was like, why am I still, I like to walk around looking like a fitness model. I mean, that's just kind of my goal. I'm not exactly where I want to be right now.
Yeah.
I've been having too many babies over the last 8 years. You know, that's kind of what happens. But, you know, now it's like go time.
Yeah.
I'm like, I like to walk around slightly shredded. And so you can see my striations and my muscles and see all
your striations.
Yeah, your striations. Where you're like lines in your muscles.
Wow.
Like you're lean enough to where, you know, you like can see where your quads are separating and you've got all your muscles so you can kind of
so like that does
things.
something for you just in your day to day walking around.
Personally for me. Like
just makes you feel better than everybody else.
I like seeing like my shoulder caps out. Not necessarily better than anybody else. It's just I feel comfortable in my own skin.
That's interesting.
I like to wear shorts when I'm like that versus now I'm like, I don't want to put shorts on.
Yeah.
You know.
So you told me about this program.
Yeah.
And I looked it up and I was like, okay. I mean, like having somebody who's done it that I trust right off the bat was like, okay, you know, all right. Because that's what's so hard for me is like, how do I weed through all the fluff and bullshit of like what program works, what program is just trying to get my money.
Because there's a lot of them out there. And
so
like,
yeah,
is the $47 one going to get me the same results as the one that's $447? Like, are you really paying for that much different? Are they going to tell you to do something different?
And so this was this was before the new year.
Yeah.
And I was going to do it. I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. The price, I mean, you know, it was fine.
Yeah.
I was going to do it. And then I was like, well, I'm going to wait until after the new year, just for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Like, I knew I wasn't going to start until after that, but it sounded very appealing to me, just the like, because you showed me your program that they, you know, it's customized for you, obviously.
Right. I was like, here's kind of the format.
You showed
here's
me
the information you get.
It looked great.
Yep.
I was ready to do it. And then what I did was waited until after the new year.
And what happens?
Well, and I thought, what I thought was like, maybe there will be like a New Year's, at the very least, like maybe it'll be a New Year's deal. No, what happened was I went on like January 3rd and the price had gone up like $200.
Yeah. I feel like it almost doubled.
Yeah, it was a lot. I don't know.
You had already like benchmarked it and put it in your mind as like certain value. And it was like, wait, what?
Because honestly, if I would have jumped on that day that you told me about it and it would have been the $500 or whatever, I probably would have been like, okay, I've done it. But I don't know. The way it panned out just
wasn't sinking in so well.
Well,
yeah. Well, and I don't know that I would have surface level. I don't know if I would have just been like Google searching and come across this program. I don't know that I would have pulled the trigger on it without having like a personal referral. Like what happened was a roommate of mine from college, she shared like before and after pictures. And it was like, what did you do? You know, from living with her back then, I was like remembering that wasn't part of her like everyday routine back then. And I was like, what did you just do? And so like I even had a personal referral to get to it in the first place. And so, you know, it just was one of those things where it's like, okay, it makes a big difference knowing somebody that can vouch for something being real.
And that's really the only reason I was going to pull the trigger on it was like, because you were like,
I'm doing it.
This is what I do.
Yeah.
And it would have been great to have been doing it at the same time. Needless to say, I'm not doing it
right
now.
No, yeah, because you're like, it's like a 150% markup or
maybe in the
future.
But I've also kind of thought about it, and like I feel like I'm kind of glad it sort of panned out that way.
I mean, sometimes things happen for a reason too.
I feel like, I don't know, and especially I think after seeing your customized program, I don't know that that's where I'm at yet.
Well, and that is the thing that's really important to like note is, you know, everyone is at a different spot in their journey. Everyone's coming from, you know, a different kind of past history stage in life, like right now.
Yeah.
And so sometimes what you need right now is not necessarily what you need when you get to like the next step. And so that is one thing that like a lot of coaches, fitness trainers, whatever, that do hire other coaches, a lot of times it's because we're also never happy with where we are. Right. You know, and so sometimes you do need somebody that pushes you a little bit farther. And, you know, when you get to the goal that you think you're going to be like so happy that you're at, it's almost like you just hit another stage and you're like, well, now I want to level up to go do something more. Yeah. And so it depends on where you're at in your journey, what fits, because a different strategy is needed to go from good to great. Right. Then to go from like great to dialed in, from dialed in to whatever, you know, or just from today to being healthy is a whole different set of strategies than stepping on a fitness competition.
Yeah, and I think I really had to stop. What am I trying to do? What's the goal?
What is the goal?
Well, that's like, I'm a ways off from like, what was the word you used? Like walking around, like feeling like I'm
a fitness competitor.
Yeah. Fitness model.
You don't want to walk around just super jacked all the time.
I mean, yeah, eventually I do, for sure. That's like a long-term goal.
It takes a lot of work.
Oh, really? Didn't know that.
I mean, it's really,
tell me more.
Why doesn't everyone just walk around the sidewalks?
That's what, there's a part of my brain that like wants it to just be, thinks that it can be that easy. Do this thing. But it's hard. I don't know. I've been on this journey for not even a year yet, really.
Yeah.
So now, I don't know. So then I just went back to the old Google machine and
because Google has all of the answers.
All of the correct information laid out right there in a very clear.
For sure. Right on top. Search result number 1.
Exactly.
Just pick it.
Yes.
And it's like,
why do fitness coaches even exist? I don't know. I don't know.
They might not anymore because like that chat CPI or whatever's coming out, they're GPT. Actually like, whatever it is, they're questioning whether or not it's going to be intelligent enough to just write programs for you.
It is. Very much so.
So it's like, okay, well then there we go.
So I think for me.
So you went to Google though.
So I went to Google. Find? I mean, I put together something that feels challenging but comfortable for me. And I haven't started that workout yet because we're doing this other challenge.
Right.
So, but I have a thing that I put together that, I don't know, I should probably have you look over it a little bit more.
So the workout?
That's the workout, and then the nutrition, which I've just kind of been fumbling my way through. I don't know. That's just going to be an ongoing
nutrition
journey.
Is an ongoing journey.
Turns out.
So
I don't know. I'm not focusing so much right now on the nutrition. Like it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is right now.
I mean, the nutrition is probably the more arguably.
Let's just get through this challenge and then we'll talk. More.
Fine. Let's focus.
Anyway,
focus on the cardio
so as
first.
far as the workout part, what I kind of wanted to talk about was how I think like putting yourself, like you're all about the accountability, like get somebody who you can
report to.
Right.
Like
exactly.
I need to be able, I need somebody to be like waiting for me to be like, I'm going to check in. I have to send them my check-in for the week.
So I think for me, and I think, I don't know, I'm probably going to go into something that maybe you didn't expect to go into.
Where are we going? I have no expectations ever. So it works out great.
So, and I want to do this in a way that's like, I don't want to make it sound like I'm whining or making excuses for, like why I don't do this, or this. But I think this is a topic that maybe I think we probably have a lot more people where I'm at than people that are where you're at.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I feel like this kind of factors in, and that's mental health and anxiety, which is my
my specialty.
It's my brand.
It's my superpower.
That's my brand of mental illness. No. So I felt like after the whole program thing didn't work out, I think I kind of went back to, I'm very protective about what I'm doing and trying to like keep it safe and keep it for me and not really putting myself out there so much to where like somebody can tell me what I'm doing wrong or somebody can point out, the ways you're not doing it right. So for me, I try to keep it to myself. I'm to the point where I'm willing to try new things and do new things and push myself, but I'm not quite ready to like put myself out there completely.
I will tell you, I didn't really realize it until like it happened to me, but like for me, it was all about the right personality of the person that was holding me accountable, because there was one particular that I hired, and then just like a colleague that her coaching style was different. And it was one of those situations where it's like, I can't have somebody flipping out on me if I have a white potato versus a sweet potato.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to get that specific, that pushes me to like a whole new level where I'm like, okay, I think that we can like peel it back just like a little bit. Yep. So, but it is interesting.
Peel it back. Talking about peel it back.
No see what you did there. But it's one of those things. Oh, well, then there's a debate with your potatoes. Do you do skin on or skin off?
Does it matter?
I'm just asking, like, what's your personal preference?
What depends on what form you're eating the potatoes in.
Well, I mean,
are we talking mashed potatoes?
Well, sure. Mashed potatoes. Do you have your peels in or do you take them out?
I could easily go either way. I don't mind a peel.
You don't mind a peel?
No.
Is it on the sweet potatoes too? Or just more the white potatoes? You could kind of go either way.
How much
have you ever had a sweet potato?
I've had a sweet potato. How much is like a regular staple in my diet? Absolutely not. No.
They're sweet.
They're weird.
They're weird. What potato should be that orange, that color?
It's weird. I don't hate sweet potatoes. I don't know, but.
All right, now we're going to completely go on a different tangent.
Yeah,
I don't even know where I was really going with that.
We're going to have to title this
you're talking about
potatoes.
It's like a subtitle. So you mentioned anxiety, and it is one thing that, like, this period of time where I was in the fitness competition world, and I'm still, connected with a lot of people that are competing or used to and aren't anymore. When you get that dialed in to nutrition, there is a level of anxiety that comes from, like, having to get so specific on, like, your amounts of food where you're measuring everything. It is a really interesting dynamic, like trying to switch back out of that. I think how well you can.
That could. I feel like that could cause a level of anxiety that didn't probably exist before.
For sure. Yeah. And it is. In my opinion, I feel like it's very common.
Yeah.
That especially with nutrition, you get to one of those things where it's like, it is high levels of anxiety.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to make the choices that are aligning with your goals, making you feel better and being healthier. But then at some point you do have to make a decision where you're like, okay, but what am I really willing to do at this point? Like, am I willing to live with the extra 5 pounds? I feel like so many people be like, I'm just going to lose an extra 5 or 10 pounds. I should lose an extra 5 pounds. Well, at what point are you like, you know what? I'm good with this extra 5 or 10 pounds because I have the lifestyle right now that I'm happy.
Yep.
And I can balance everything, because sometimes what it takes to get to that last 5 or 10 pounds, it can put you over the edge.
Yeah.
And then how productive was that in the end? And so there is high levels of anxiety that come around that. And some people can, just becomes like your life. But then at some point you're like, God, you want to be weighing your food at restaurants the rest of your life because you're so scared basically about what will happen if you make a different choice.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, going down this road, I can see how, I don't know, it kind of can tend to take over your life. And that's not a place.
Now, on the flip side, if you go through the exercise and you learn about how choices can impact, and you become educated and you can control the outcome because you know what you're doing is going to help you accomplish certain goals, that is a good place to be, because it also can get really frustrating if you think you're doing all of the right things and nothing's changing. Yeah. Like, that is a common thing too, where you're like, oh, I feel like I'm dieting, I'm eating really well, I'm doing all of the things. But when you're just doing it on your own, sometimes that maybe is, if it's just tweaked a little bit, it might be all that you need. And so, finding a coach that's a good spot for you for where you're at, some accountability. But yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough finding the right personality of a coach that's going to push you just enough, but not push you too much. Yeah. That makes you feel like you should just quit.
And so then there's like coaches and like personal trainers and all this stuff. And then there's also just like an accountability buddy. Sure. Somebody who's kind of on the same level as you.
Which at this point, that's pretty much what we are with the challenge.
We're definitely on the same fitness level.
For sure. I mean, with cardio, you probably have me beat really on cardio. I don't know that I could go out and run a 3K right now, or 5K. Wait, 3 miles. Wait, 5K. Which
math is hard.
Which number is that? But like, I mean, accountability partner. The only way we're showing up, we're doing the cardio.
The only reason I'm showing up at that gym every day, mostly every day, is so that you don't think you're better than me.
Right.
So, I mean, that's it. That's
enough motivation.
If I even have the thought of like, I'm not going to show up, I can literally in my mind hear your eyeballs rolling so far back in your head,
Caleigh.
And I'm just not going to put myself through that. It's not worth it. So I just show up. I
love it. See? So then it works. So sometimes you have to find your person. It's not necessarily like having to pay for somebody, but sometimes making a monetary investment holds your feet to the fire a little bit more, because it's also very easy going back to, I know what to do. I can write my own plan. I can write my own program. probably verbatim for what she sent me. And it's different because if nobody's watching me, I still have my days. Or if we weren't doing that challenge, that one night that we got home like later and I went at 8:30 at night and then went back again the next morning, I would have probably just skipped that night workout.
You would have?
100%. Like if we weren't in the middle of that challenge, I'd have been like, I'm tired. This was a long weekend. It was fun, but it was a lot. Yeah. I probably would not have rolled back out there and got it done that day. So there is some power of accountability. Yeah. Whatever it is, whatever flavor of it
and is. I think no matter what you do, whether you're doing it with your program like you're doing it, or whether you're just kind of muddling your way through it like I am. I don't know. I've been thinking about this. What's interesting is that you can hire out basically any task in your life, any aspect of your life. You can hire a housekeeper to clean your house. You can hire someone to take care of your yard. You can hire somebody to take care of your kids. You can hire an Uber to drive you around. Your health and your body really are the only thing that you can't hire out.
You can't.
If you don't show up, you can pay somebody any amount of money.
Right.
But it's like, I just joined the gym. Now I'm paying for a gym membership.
Now you're coming.
If I don't come, if I don't show up,
you're not using it. Well, I will tell you, we've owned the gym now for 11 years.
Yeah.
And this is the most that I've used any one of our treadmills.
Really?
This period of time that we've been doing this challenge.
Nice.
So that's what it took, I guess, for me, was for me to be accountable. So this time it wasn't monetary investment.
Yeah.
This one was like a challenge. We told people we're going to do it.
Which is fun. And that's just it. There's different ways to do it. And so I think hiring, you can hire a personal trainer, or buy a expensive curated customized program. But I think having an accountability partner is kind of probably the closest you can come to hiring this out. But, at the end of the day, if you don't show up, you're not going to get the results.
Right. Because it's the only body you got.
Yep.
Which is so overused.
Yep.
But it's true, though. Like, you have one life, you've got one body. And but that's what's hard about it, though, too, is because, and it's very personal.
Yeah.
Because nobody else can do it for you. Nobody else can change it.
Yeah.
And so it's a direct reflection of where you're at and what you're doing. And so that's also super sensitive too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a huge fan. I mean, if you do either love it or hate it, I'm a huge fan of finding accountability. I think it makes a world of difference.
Yeah.
Hold your feet to the fire, but it varies. And it could just be a friend.
Yeah.
It could be something you have to pay for. Whatever moves you is going to be different from someone else.
Yeah.
And whatever moves you at this moment in time is also going to be different than what moves you 5 years from now.
Exactly.
Or would have motivated you 5 years ago.
So yeah, we love it. You love it.
I love it.
I definitely see the value in it. But I think it's not always especially for people just getting started, it's not always so black and white of like, just have somebody, it can be a very intimidating situation to put yourself into, and there's a lot of, I don't know, I find myself not wanting to put myself in uncomfortable situations before I'm ready. So I get that hesitation where it can feel like a huge thing to ask of a certain type of person.
Well, it can also be really super negative quick if you hire the wrong person.
Yes.
Too.
Yep.
Because I'll hear stories over and over and over again of, personal trainers that just are not empathetic of people's history, are just like so hardcore, like it's just diet and exercise. It's like, no.
And that's what I don't need that. Like that's what I'm afraid of. That's what I don't want.
Yeah.
That's what you put yourself out there and then you end up in having a negative experience or in a negative situation where it just ruins it for you. And you're like, I shouldn't be doing any of this.
Right. Yep. And I will say, that's probably like when it comes to like my personal coaching style, that's probably the one thing where it's like, I always battle back and forth with myself of like, okay, should I like be more of a hard ass right now?
Yeah.
And like speaking like, holding some feet more to the fire. I've never liked that coaching style
for you.
For me.
Yeah.
And so I am definitely more of like the empathetic coaching, focus more on the, but look what you have accomplished so far. Let's focus on everything that you have done or the new things you started instead of being the hard ass, like, why did you skip out on your cardio? Why did you make these food substitution choices like blah, 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 blah. It's more of like, okay, but guess what? you got in 3 workouts this week that before you weren't doing any. So awesome. Like, let's keep it forward. And so that is, you know, something that evolves too as you take in more, you know, situations and stuff that you just got to find the right person to fit where you're at.
Yeah. So. And that's what it comes down to at the end of all of it, is that finding the right situation, the right person, the right program, the right, you know, it's not one size fits all.
No.
Figure out what works for you.
Kudos to you for like paying attention to where your like hard stops are, you know, and protecting yourself first, because the mental health side of it and just making sure you're staying balanced and like happy, and that stress does crazy things to your body. Yeah. So if you are getting stressed out about something or if it's too much or if it's just not the right time, like it's definitely not worth it. Finding a way to focus on the positive things, moving the meter just 1%, even if it's just moving it 1% over the course of a month,
right?
Making progress towards something. It doesn't have to be balls to the wall.
No.
All the time.
Yep.
So there we go. All right. So I love accountability. I think
I love it.
You know, you love the idea of it.
Not quite there yet. But I'm loving going to the gym with you.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
That's our accountability.
And we just do the treadmill because that's what I'm comfortable doing. And don't ask me to do anything else there.
Oh, we'll start lifting. We open that one now. We'll stick to cart. You know, the treadmills are the most popular equipment. In each
we've been having to fight people off.
We have. It is so busy. It's also the beginning of the year, and so
everybody's there.
New Year's resolutions going on, but okay. So we love it, accountability, but you gotta find what works for you. So there we go. All
right.
Until next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the episode. Be sure to let us know how you feel about the topic. Do you love it or hate it?
Also, subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, and of course, tell your friends. Until next time.
You've been listening to Euphony Innovatives Sonified.